Welcome to the Embrace the Face podcast, where we celebrate all things weird and wonderful. I'm Allie Anderson, your host, here to bring you high vibe content and interviews for your highest good in self-healing and ascension. May these episodes bring you all you need in each now, and I thank you for listening, as always. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of Embrace the Face, where this is our very first episode of the new year, 2026, and I have two very special guests with me. I have Miss Mary Klockler and Mr. Adam Bernstein. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Hey. Hi, Allie. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes. So I've had Mary on and Adam before, and Mary and I have discussed many topics, including ancient wisdoms and ancient technologies and Vimanas and hidden pyramids. And Adam and I have talked, Adam shared his story and talked about, Adam is basically, you're kind of like a prophet, Adam. I just think when I think of you, Adam, I think of a prophet, and your prophetic forecast I always love. And so I had this idea back in like late November, early December, to have both Adam and Mary on, because we all know each other, and I just felt like we could have a really great discussion, intuitive channel discussion on not just current events, but on things just the collective energies. And I just feel that you two have such amazing insights. So why don't we start with Adam? We were talking just pre-recording, we were talking a little bit about the planetary alignments and the heavy collective energies. So do you want to talk a little bit to that?
Well, sure. We have like a once in, God, I can't even do the math, but we have a planetary alignment. It's really peaking now, between now and around the 9th through the 10th. Today's the 7th, I think. So we have, where do I start? Well, the first thing is that Mars and Venus, they're conjunct, I think, today, actually, at about, I think it's 18 degrees in Capricorn with the sun. I think that conjunction happened yesterday. And then Jupiter's in an opposition at 20 degrees Cancer. So that opposition with the sun is going to be direct, I think, on the 9th or the 10th. So that's an incredible planetary alignment from a geo perspective position. Because the inner planets, they not only have a resonance with the conscious field, but also there's a gravitational effect and an electromagnetic effect. And Mercury's not that far off of it. Mercury's just a few degrees off that alignment. And then on the outer planets, well, Saturn is kind of conjunct Neptune, and those two are sextiling both Pluto and Uranus that are flanking. So it's just kind of like, it's almost like almost like a grand sextile, although not quite. Maybe if you added the asteroids in, but it creates this dynamic in consciousness and energy that's intensifying the fields basically, and it's likely leading to or catalyzing a lot of the geopolitics that are going on. We had the Maduro capture recently, right? That was just a few days ago, which I had predicted on my YouTube channel. And we're also likely to have a lot of geological activity over the next couple of weeks. That could be big earthquakes, volcanoes, solar activity. The sunspots are probably going to rebuild, and we're probably going to get some solar flaring. So it's just, creating, a strong alignment. It's almost like taking a magnifying glass, with the energetic fields that affect the earth and just beaming it, intensifying it. And we all react to it differently. For some of us, it's going to enhance our intuitive abilities, our abilities to connect with spirit, our loved ones, our guides, our angels, to get prophetic dreams. If people have been probably having a lot of intense dreams lately, it's really a very rare event, and we don't know exactly how it's going to play out, because the effects will play out in the next few weeks. But I think we're going to see a lot more going on in the world, and people are going to be very, very intense. So when you go out into the world the next few days, give people a little extra latitude, maybe a little extra distance. Everybody's really like charged up and on a very, very short fuse. So, but the main thing is, it's Spirit just reminded me, talk about this, okay? It's It's assisting in the global ascension. Yeah, that's what these alignments do. And it's enhancing the energy to help raise our collective field, so more and more people are going to have awakenings and have realization and really cool downloads from spirit and realize more who they are, where they came from, why they're here, what planets they may be from as star seeds and stuff like that. So it's really going to help catalyze the next a new wave of awakening. We've been obviously the last several years, we've been in an awakening cycle. So anyway, that's a little synopsis, anyways.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And as
Yeah.
you said, the star seed nature, I immediately thought of. So, for those not familiar, those like new to listening into these kind of topics, so it is said that we are all of star seed nature, that we from dust we came and from dust we shall return, right? So, alluding to the stars, the different planetary systems. And I, for one, channel light language. I've been told it is Pleiadian, and just thinking about the fact that there are other beings, that we are not alone. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today was to remind, I guess, the people listening and the collective is that when we think about when we feel uneasy in our bodies, like you said, everybody is on such a short fuse and we don't feel grounded and we don't feel really like safe in our body and our nervous systems are on the fritz, kind of remembering that it's not always us, remembering that it may not be you individually, that it may be collect, but also again, where is this coming from, the otherworldly. And Mary and I had discussed, I love talking about the Vimanas because it is said that if you look at ancient Vedic texts and you see that, for example, Shiva or all their gods are, most of their gods are depicted as being blue in color. And what does that mean? That they are of extraterrestrial origin, and that it's not just it's, you know, ancient China and all the even indigenous cultures in the West. And it goes to show that there are these people still to this day living in idolizing these beings that did come from the sky. They're known as coming from the sky on their Brahmanas flying down. So, is there anything in relation to, I guess, extraterrestrial? Or I've been seeing a lot about the aliens are coming. I have been feeling a presence for so long anyway. So I'm just curious your projections on that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like, well, firstly, and I know you both agree, we know each other well enough. We shared a retreat last summer, also that was really, or last spring, I
Awesome.
think. But anyway, yeah, as soon as you're talking about like the Vedics and the like the gods, the blue gods, I automatically thought about Sekhmet from Egypt, and the Lyrans are the cat people. They have cat or lion faces and humanoid bodies, at least
They are the
according to.
Sphinx. That is actually an homage to the Sphinx. Yes, the Lyrans. Yes.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's one of the beings that I've been able to channel in my channeling, and I mean they go on to say there are actually 12 segments back in the day. It wasn't just one of them. They come from Lyra. The Lyrans. I think. Oh God, what's the Vega? I believe is the planet. Yeah, yeah. So I think that firstly that they've been working with us. They've been helping us. More and more people are starting to feel them. Like either they're coming through in dreams or they're actually seeing them or getting telepathic messages. I relate a lot to the Arcturian, so I feel like I'm primarily an Arcturian starseed. Uh, there's over 100 that have been identified. Dolores Cannon and others put many people under hypnosis, different walks of life, nobody that knew each other, and they were coming up with the same experiences. It was very unilateral, which is really fascinating. And I just think that this is the time we've been prepared. I mean, in a cosmic sense for many lifetimes, many millennia, but in this incarnation, we're 2026, I think, last I checked, is 2026, that we've been prepared. I got my first inkling around 2010 during the great solstice, the winter solstice lunar eclipse, which was
Hmm.
an amazing energy. I mean, remember going out. I live in the Catskill Mountains. It was about 10 degrees out. It was bitter, bitter cold. I was out walking for about 3 hours, and the then the moon started to turn green in my mind as it's getting smaller. The landscape turned violet and purple, and I just got this message: the divine feminine is reawakened. And at that moment, I said, "Wow, that's 1212, but it's not 2012; it's 2010. Very cool." But anyway, I think that's. I think it was even earlier because we had the harmonic convergence in what 1987. So we've been building, they've been preparing us, and they've been working with us. And I've been getting downloads suggesting that ascended masters and star beings are in sensitive position in world government, helping from the inside out, as well as a lot of people are connected, are star seeds. Some are first generational star seeds, but we all have to go. I mean, I'm an old soul star seed. I've been around the earth for thousands of years, but some people are just came in for this time, and then we have to. Even if you're a brand new star seed, you've never been human, you have to go through the human experience. You have to go through the spiritual steps and remember who you are. So that's a process that's been going on. But more and more, they're making their presence known. And I believe that a lot of this technology, AI, may have been at least partially alien technology that takes a lot of water and resources from the earth, but that's another story. And they've been preparing us, and more activities. I think at some point, I'm feeling around February, but I think at some point there's going to be a big announcement. It might be the UN, it might be the US, it might be Donald Trump, assuming he's still in office. That's a whole other story to unpack. But and it's really like an integration of knowledge and part of our ascension and realizing who we truly are. And once we understand that we have roots in many different star systems, that's all connected to the grand whole, the grand oneness, great spirit, source God, then we're ready to go into our next level of ascension. So anyway, hopefully that made sense.
No, I love it. It makes total sense. Yeah, thank you for sharing. I too believe that there's something coming. Do you think that, so I find it fascinating that other countries besides the US, they're always keeping these countries, that I believe it's Russia, there's a few European countries, I think in I want to say like Norwegian area, like Switzerland area. I know that they're open with the public about sightings and occurrences and reportings of extraterrestrial nature. So I would be curious to see if it is the US that finally, comes forward and says like, okay, the veil is lifted. This is what's going on. Now, do you think that Three Eye Atlas has anything to do with this? What is your take on that?
Yeah, everything's connected in consciousness, right? That nothing's separate. And as Three Eye Atlas came in, I did some remote viewing. I should say remote sensing, because I'm not a trained remote viewer. That's a very specific training that people that are true remote viewers. But I'm able to work with the Merkaba energy. I'm able to transfer consciousness. So I went in, and the first thing I felt like a lot of power, life. Like that was the first thing I felt life, but it wasn't presented as like a UFO, like a craft or anything like that. I mean, it could be a probe. That crossed my mind, but that it was alive. And that there's theories that there is life on Three Eye Atlas, like scientifically anyway. They study. Oh God, I forgot the name of the asteroid that they studied, but it shows that basically with asteroids, comets, that they have the building blocks for RNA. Interstellar space is not empty. It's a vacuum from our perspective, but it's 99.99% plasma, but there's still gases. So there's still building blocks for life in interstellar space. So anyway, as it was doing that, I felt it was alive. It was here to help to transmit information, to exchange information with our collective, with the universe. And there's just too many coincidences. It's coming right on the elliptical plane. It's affecting 4 separate planets. About 5 or 6 other comets just converge right when Three Eye Atlas is coming close to the perigee of Earth, and then they're scattering it. It's going into Jupiter. So I do believe that it is somehow connected to collective consciousness. It's got like a resonance of life, intention, and purpose, and is helping with the energetics to help raise the consciousness. It's part of our ascension and awakening. And I do believe it's communicating with us. So from a scientific perspective, it's really interesting also, because it's at the very least, from base science, we can learn a lot about the inner galaxy, because based on its trajectory, it came from the inner Milky Way, from near galactic center, out of the constellation Sagittarius. And in Western astrology, galactic center is what, 28 degrees Sag, I think. So in the Vedic system, it's about 0 degrees, it's right in between Scorpius and Sagittarius in the Vedic system, or the sidereal astrology. So it came out of that region. So, I feel like it's a beacon. It's no coincidence anyway.
Do you
So I don't
feel
know
that
if
it's a
that
ship, Adam? Because I feel that it's actually a ship. I feel it has a resonance. I feel it has a frequency, and I feel it has a vibration. So there's
I feel
definitely
like that
energy.
it's got a resonance, frequency, vibration. I personally haven't gotten that it's actually a ship, though. That much I haven't gotten. But from what you're saying, I get that there's a resonance, a vibration. There is life. There's intention. There's purpose, and it's upgrading. It's part of the upgrade, basically. And I think another thing, I did remote viewing later, and they were talking about, this is a life form that we don't understand. It's like it might live in the plasma fields and kind of feed on plasma, but that I kind of conjectured, what if this was like a cell of an organism that covers like many thousands of light years, and like each cell might be thousands of kilometers apart, basically, meaning that there's a lot of three-eye atlases out there, if that theory is correct. So yeah, it's
There's
got
definitely
definitely
others. I feel there
resonance.
is. I feel you're right
I
on that. There's
feel
definitely
too,
others.
yeah.
Yeah, Mary is a reputable remote viewer herself. So, yeah.
I do want to add, Allie, we found all four guns, by the way. Remember we were looking for guns in someone's house?
Yes.
Okay, so the bed standing up where you are, they found it actually. So all of us, there's four of us on that project, were correct. We all had a little bit of input to find them.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
it's very awesome. I actually yesterday I just found out that I found a kai. So my friend had lost her kai, and it was her mother's necklace, and
Oh,
she couldn't find it. So I see the three drawers, but I said I see a fourth drawer. So it was a little cabinet on top of the three drawer dresser that she pulled
yeah.
out that fourth drawer. It was like an extra piece that was put on like clear, and she pulls it out and finds it. She goes, I've been looking everywhere for this. So we did find, but I saw it. I just didn't see it on the chain. But yes, remote viewing's been helping me a lot. So it's been happening.
So how do you feel? You feel that? I feel like it's a three eye atlas. Going back to three eye atlas, that it's a ship incognito, like the actual asteroid look, the physiology of it that we see. I guess
Yeah.
that it's almost like an illusion
It could
that
be
we.
a cloaked ship,
I
absolutely.
think it's a whole thing. I think it's a lot more than what we're really being allowed to see personally.
Yeah.
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but always for the betterment. I too feel that it's for the betterment of humanity and Earth, so that we're not being destructive and we're not, I guess, going into that. So, okay, this is going to sound really weird, but last night, obviously today, we were planning on recording about all of this. Last night, I go to put on the TV, watching Ancient Aliens. No shocker, that's like
Of
usually on my
course.
TV. And it was the episode on the Brahmanas and all of these extraterrestrial beings and leaders and Pharisees and all that. But also at the same time, my husband sends me this link from a New York Post article from yesterday on The Simpsons. So the Simpsons show about its predictions and how so many things have already occurred. And one of them being that there's a prediction of World War III coming. So does anybody want to talk into that a little bit? Because we do have these beings that we feel are helping us collectively. I truly feel that they're helping us to not be destructive via like nuclear war or to really cause major destruction on the planet.
I feel that this war is for our energies, for our souls. I don't feel it's exactly it is partly for the planet, control of the planet, but it also is for our loosh, our energy that we create. As worker bees in sadness, we create this other energy. So I feel that is a tug of war of good and evil for our souls, collectively too, collectively. So
Hmm.
that's the war I feel that's coming. Not even explosions. That's all. You're right. I believe the our space ancestors will shut that down, if you know what I'm saying. But that's what I feel, and I know that they have done it before. So they're out there, and I believe that those energies will shut it down. So, but I think it's our souls that the real battle is for.
Hmm.
Yes,
Where
and
it
the earth,
began.
and the
Yeah.
earth is so precious. It's so precious. So it
Yeah.
has it's perfect. It's a perfect marble. It's a perfect circle. It's perfect. So of course, everybody wants it. Wants control of it. Wants the people. Look at how it went in Venezuela for 25 years. That is terrible. But it's something that, of course, it's power and control. So we're gonna try to raise the consciousness, I believe, to fight to at least to 5D to bring us there to fight all of this control. That's what I feel is going to be the actual war.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for that insight. What about you, Adam? What do you think?
So it's interesting because yeah, there's definitely that's in the air, and as Mary said, yeah, it's absolutely a good versus evil kind of a paradigm. We've created this as a collective for our mutual ascension, basically. So it's just part of our classroom, part of our learning, and absolutely, if it wasn't for our helpers, the ascended ones, the extraterrestrials or star beings, there probably would have been some country probably would have nuked another country by now. I'll put it that way, because humans are still quite primitive. But when I channel, they say they tell us that we're in we're in an ascension, so we're attracting a lot of eyes of the galaxy and maybe Andromeda also neighboring galaxies, but we're attracting a lot of attention from the cosmos, basically. And what was I going to say? I got distracted by my screen.
I get distracted every moment. Cosmos. We were talking about our heads are in
But,
the
but,
cosmos.
but in any event, yeah, so we have help. And the interesting thing is that I had on my YouTube channel, it's the Medium channel, it's called. Dropped a video yesterday because it took me about 2 days to realize, holy crap, I had a vision of the kidnapping, and in the vision it was like and I have the clips. I actually posted on a YouTube video that I dropped yesterday, but I just got a vision of yeah, and I started out when I talked about it saying I'm seeing a hostage situation. Then they show me uh a head of state, either US or Europe, but I lean towards America, darker skinned people and light skinned people. And yeah, I forgot what else I got. And then in the later one, in my 2026, or it was the January, Maduro was at the top of the list of people that I thought was going to leave office this year. So I got all of that. Decided to do a little bit of channeling, and I asked spirit, so what is this? Because honestly, I thought, a couple of things in my mind. I honestly thought that a lot of it was about the rare earth minerals, because the U.S. is in this like race to build the AI infrastructure to beat China or whatever, and it takes a lot of resources to do that. And Venezuela has it. And then, of course, there's the oil. And then there's the strategic location. Other than Colombia, it's the closest country to the Panama Canal, other than Panama, of course, and Colombia, the borders on the south. There's that. So I asked, and the first thing they said, this was a business arrangement, is what I got. This was a business arrangement. This was all planned ahead of time, which would explain what the lack of resistance from the Venezuela military is like. How does a soldiers go into a country and pluck the
Yeah.
president or dictator, whatever you want to call it? How does that happen? And then I asked for further information. Said, well, the idea is that they are aligning countries in order to create the World War III agenda, in order to centralize power more. So basically, this, Greenland's next, or Colombia might be next. but it's all about like forming like what countries on one side, one countries on the other. That's married good versus evil, right? Right.
Yes,
Of course,
yes,
we
I do
see
know that.
like the BRICS nations like China and Russia. We see them as evil, but there's a lot more to the story than that. It reminds me of this clever show back in the '90s called Shield, where there's about this cop named Vic who was a good cop.
That
He was putting people away, but he's also taking bribes too. And it was like that was such a clever show because it shows that the lines between good and evil are not that distinct. They're not that clear. So basically, that's what I got. But then I asked, so are we going to go into World War III? And I got crickets. They didn't tell me basically. And I think part of that was because it's still a choice, but it's orchestrated. And if we ascend and awaken enough, we're not going to have to go into like a whole World War III scenario. That's what I feel and believe, basically. But it's on the table. And by the end of the year, we're going to be talking a lot about that, I think. So, anyway, that's kind of what I get about that.
Thank you both.
it's interesting because when they talk about the like a wars or any kind of events that would happen in human history, we always have to go back to the other events in human history, the mud flood. You have to go back to what caused all these things. If you talk about Tartaria, for example, do you both know about Tartaria?
Mm.
Not specifically, no.
Yeah, so that was basically Russia, and Tartaria had free energy before the mud flood. So it was the whole Mongolian thing, and it comes down to the Khazarian mafia, and this is what we're seeing as the World Economic Forum right now. So it's insane when you see fast forward the bloodlines are carrying through. It's a couple of ancient things coming forward,
Yeah.
and psychically, I always get, so how are we going to heal this? And I always hear the hearts of man never fails. The hearts of man always. That's exactly the answer I always get. As well as we are each a drop of ocean in God's a drop of water in God's ocean of love. So that if we would maintain that energy, the we will rise above. The resonance of the planet, the Schumann resonance, is going wild right now too.
I was just going to ask that. Yeah.
Yes, it's been going wild. And they did just discover another pyramid, by the way. There is another discovery. So they have the one under the water in Japan. They have the one in the Muskogee Mountain that has not been disclosed yet as of 2008. That's an alien base. And that's quite interesting in Romania. And then the new one, I believe, I know there's a big black one under the ice in Alaska that all the countries control. That's the interesting part. Everybody goes to the North Pole, basically Alaska, and they basically all have control over this one area. And it's a pyramid of runes. So up it is a big black pyramid under the ice, and they see runic writing, not Egyptian writing, runic writing. So that's quite interesting. They're finding all this stuff now. So the Earth, the resonance is actually bringing it up to the surface, I believe, for us to see.
I
Now,
just got
so
chills. I love
yeah,
it.
I got chills.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's been pretty awesome following all the new discoveries. I do believe that they found in Afghanistan, no, Iraq it is. They also have a giant. They're in possession of the giant, and they believe that is Gilgamesh. So that's something that they found. He's King Gilgamesh, and they found his body. He's 11 feet tall.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's a whole thing, and he's decorated in crowns and fish. He was the fish god. So you ever see the Sumerians where we're wearing the fish scale outfits?
Mm-hmm.
He is actually wearing a fish scale outfit.
So interesting.
Yeah,
I love Queen of Ancient Wisdoms. I love
but
it.
our world is not disclosing that because we might learn something from our past to not make the same mistakes. That's the problem. They don't want to disclose this information. So thankfully we're intuitive.
The Mob family, that's the one with the vaults, right? With the one vault that.
So you're talking of the Padman Swami Temple in India? Are you talking about that with the vaults? So, Adam, did you ever hear of the Padman Swami Temple in India?
I'm trying to think. I've heard a lot of things. It sounds familiar anyways.
So this temple has 6 vaults, and all of the vaults have been opened by the government, the Indian government. The royalty, the Indian royalty, has asked has actually started a case with the Supreme Court of India not to open Vault B because they feel it's Pandora's box and will unleash hell on earth, basically. What I saw when I remotely viewed into this was lizards. I saw lizard people. I saw very, very large. I saw it protected by snakes. I saw some stuff in there that was not exactly. There's a lot of riches in there and gold to draw us in to open it, but it's important that we don't. And the Supreme Court actually ruled in favor of the royal family of India not to open that vault. So it would feed the entire country of India. That's how much gold is in this. But it might not be good for the planet. And the royal family came in tune with that and went for it and said, we don't want this open. So that's a developing. It's a development that has happened about a very old temple. So old. I don't even know when they date that. They say founded. When they founded the temple, it goes way past that. So it's been pretty
Yeah.
amazing discoveries. But I hope we learn from our past. I hope we do.
Yeah, same. History not repeating itself.
That's right. Yeah, so it's so many things.
Well, thank you. Oh, I love these insights. So what do you guys feel about travel? Do you feel so my family and I, we travel so much. And recently we usually have many trips planned, a year in advance. And this year we only have April plans. I have one other trip in September, but I feel, and I've been getting the intuitive sense and in meditation that things are going to come to a halt, specifically air travel. I don't know if either of you have felt anything like that.
So yesterday I literally was on the phone with Expedia because JetBlue decides I booked a flight for March 20th to go to Florida to visit my pirate friend. And, my really, really close old friend, right? Can't wait. So we're excited. We're going to go March 20th. And I get a direct flight. Now I have very bad sciatica, so I can't go take long times on planes, right? It hurts. So I literally get the notification right after I book it that now it's a connecting flight with a 4-hour delay in between. I was like, is that for free? Because I didn't sign up for that, right? So then I said, you have to change it, you have to cancel it. And I intuitively said, get insurance on this one. Make sure you have insurance on this travel. Yeah. So something told me it was going to change. And I asked Expedia, what is going on? I was on the phone with Expedia for 2 hours yesterday. I go, what is going on? And they said, we have no idea. That's what they said. So there we go. So it should be up to us as intuitives to kind of tune into that. I feel there is going to be something. I don't know if it's a shortage of fuel. That actually could be on the table where they hold back the fuel. But I don't know what it is. But for a connecting flight like that, it was a 2-hour flight to Florida. We're not doing anything crazy,
Yeah.
Yeah, to do that both ways for March, there's already something happening. So you are in alignment with exactly what's going on. You're feeling it.
It could be a scare tactic too. That just kind of came. It's here where they're halting flight because there's this, fears of national security or stuff like that would be fictitious. It wouldn't be real. So that comes off. Then I always think about the solar flares and and the fact that this with the satellite system, it would just take one big flare. I mean, the Earth's magnetic field's about lose about 5% every decade or so now. I mean, it's that to me is not alarming in itself, but it just feels like something's up. I feel like maybe toward Aprilish, around that time into the end of the spring, just sort of general feelings that I don't know if travel will be completely halted. I feel like Spirit's saying it could be for a short period, maybe 48 hours or something like that. But I think there's general disruptions and different reasons. They also popped in a big volcano, either in Iceland or the Arctic. And when there's big volcanoes, sometimes that cancels flights because they have to reroute them. You can't fly when there's pyroclastic flows happening. When ash is going up into the stratosphere, that'll ruin the airplane. So they have to reroute them when that happens.
You don't feel it's I mean, definitely the mass coronal ejections could do it. The solar flares.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you don't feel it's an event of the heart of man. Do you? Because I feel it's going to be an event of the heart of man that stops it. So the three of us together can ask to cancel any future events that could
Yeah.
be volatile of a rogue person. That's what I got, rogue.
Yeah.
Oh, just saying there's a reason that I practice heart brain coherence, that I teach you like the gospel to anybody that'll listen, because that's such a key to our evolution right now, is really when the heart is in its proper resonance, which is gratitude, appreciation, love, what else, compassion, all that stuff, then the brain comes into its proper alignment, and then when that happens, then we're more aligned with spirit, and then that's when we connect. So yeah, big key, work with the heart. Heart brain coherence isn't easy, although it's easy, but it's not, because when you start to open the heart, well, the heart, if it's not
Heal.
open yet, that means there's a lot of stuck energy there from traumas, dramas from this and other lifetimes. When you start to open it, it's uncomfortable, but keep doing it. Right, that's the key. Right, Mary and
Yes,
Alice.
exactly. So even after, when we get off, we can always just like open our hearts and just send out to protect the areas that we are all in. I feel we are light, star seeds and
Yeah,
anchor light everywhere we
exactly.
go. So if
None of this.
everybody, more and more people did that, we'd have such a world, right? So what an
Exactly.
amazing world.
That's
I
the
love it.
idea, right? Spread the
That
love.
That is the idea. I do want to say, Adam, so I think it was about 15 years ago that you had read me and told me when I was a court reporter that I was going to work with copper and crystals and that I better learn all my crystals. Yeah, there you go. So
Mary,
I
that for
just
people.
I
Oh, I
made a
have
pyramid
mine
that went
too,
to
but I
England this
haven't.
year. My Etsy store went far and wide, so it's been very awesome. I actually made a copper crown recently with five
Nice.
points, five crystals, and I'll have to send a picture or you can add it in. But it's so awesome. What it was ordered and it was $333 ultimately is what I would charge for this, as well as the way it landed. It kind of melted on her head. It was so cool.
Ooh,
So very, very cool. It was my first crown. And what I felt was every time I came near it, I got more and more ideas. So it's very intense. And I felt that Nikola Tesla was actually communicating with me through this. So it was pretty awesome. I was getting more and more ideas. It was just wild. So I
I
thank
love
you very much, Adam.
Interesting
I
thing.
mean,
Oh,
this
you're
journey's been
welcome.
amazing. And I do want to
Yeah, that
add,
was,
so with Stranger Things out, Stranger Things and the Montauk Project. So we all know Laurie Saluzzi. So
Mhm.
yes.
Laurie Saluzzi is mentioned in the book, The Montauk Project,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Something in
Was
Time.
that one of the Peter Noon books, or is that a different one?
Yes, it's called Experiments in Time, The Montauk
I think
Project.
that was one of the Peter Noon books. No, or
Yes, yes, yes. So she's mentioned in that. And she's also mentioned in
oh, I
Pyramids of
didn't know.
Montauk for some reason. I don't know why her
Cool.
name comes up all the
Oh, good
time.
for her. That's
So she's
awesome.
the one who actually encouraged too, as well, with you to do all this. So thank you. I thank you
That's
very much.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for those of you who don't know Mary's background, Mary received a download from Nikola Tesla how many years ago now?
It must have been, I don't know, 8 years ago now. So I've sold so
With
many.
like literally a retired court reporter suddenly being able to write down dimensions and measurements on formulating copper pyramids, wands. I also have a wand. I have it right here. And now crowns. Crowns are in big demand.
Now crowns, I can't believe it. So yes, but the crown, though, I did not realize because it is going around your crown chakra. So here
Mhm.
we are putting now our royalty wears pure metals with real stones, right? They must be receiving something. They would never mess with rhinestones. Rhinestone tiara. I can see how pretty and sparkly, but at the end of the day, it does nothing for you. This was just bringing in lots and lots of information. It was wild. The idea.
So the note of Nikola Tesla, it
What?
was very interesting. The note of Nikola Tesla. Very recently, one of the chief researchers of plasma, like the chief plasma researcher at MIT, was murdered,
Yes, I
basically.
know that. I know that. That
Yeah,
was interesting that you mentioned him. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but
I
yes.
can't either, but it's just like, all right, that's free energy. It's in the plasma. There's plasma everywhere. That's part of the Schumann resonance, because it's really a measurement. It's the measurement of the standing waves of the electromagnetism of the planet, and it's its wavelength is at least mode one is exactly or well, very close to the circumference of the Earth. So that's its extremely low wavelength, right? It's like um, and it responds to the lightning. There's earthquake signals you can see. You just have to be a little careful reading the graphs, especially because a lot of people will post just the one from Tomsk, Russia, and not get verification for the other measuring stations, because snow flurries can cause those spikes in the Schumann resonance.
Yes.
Thunderstorms can cause those spikes. So you have to know how to read them. But when you do that, it's usually the subtle ones. Like recently, there's one at 33 hertz, and we think that's a pre-earthquake signal. We think that there's a big earthquake coming with that. But sometimes you can get the like if you really are astute and really know how to read it, a lot of the whiteouts is just noise. It's just local conditions. But if you really know what you're doing, you can start to see where the ET downloads are happening, where the true energetic downloads happening, and how the Earth is responding. That's really, I just started to get into Schumann resonance just over the last year or so. And I remember I'm actually a trained meteorologist turned medium, which is interesting. And back
Awesome.
in the 70s, the Schumann resonance was known, but it was thought that it was purely a function of the lightning. The
That's
metaphysical
what they thought it was.
wasn't
They didn't
in.
realize it was the heartbeat.
Yeah, they didn't realize it's really the heartbeat, that our brain
Yeah.
waves and our heart are synchronized with the Schumann resonance, that it's a response to cosmic frequency and all that. It's all connected, right, Mary? It's all connected.
All connected. All connected. Just like our ley lines. So our ley lines around the planet, what
Yeah.
did our ancient ancestors do? Build pyramids on them, right? So, there's vortexes, energy vortexes to connect to the higher ether. And the
Yeah, and
more
the
that I
pagan people
study
of the
this,
world too.
the more I
Yeah,
realize that our world is all connected. The trees, it's all part of the system. It's all part of the system. The
exactly.
water, everything's part of the system. When I was creating my salt spray, my healing salt spray that I make, right, for singers, which I now have a scratchy throat, but I made this healing salt spray. I said, God, so how much do I charge for this? Because it's got to be, people want this. It's very, they're into it. It's healing them. It's helping them. And I was at the beach, and a $20 bill came flying to my ankle, half of it. And I go, $20? And then the other half came flying to my ankle. There was no one on the beach. It was me and my son, who was on the other side of
Yeah,
the beach. Yeah, so crazy. So I look around, I go, this is so strange. I go, $20 for salt water? And he goes, you're already paying for water. That's what I heard. You're already paying for water, because that meaning they've already controlled the waters. So all the water's controlled. So once
water
we
wars are coming. Yeah,
yeah, yes, exactly. Once we
water wars are
take
coming.
control of our planet back a little bit and realize
Yeah,
that it's a living being, we'll have a little bit better time here, a little bit a higher existence, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, it's all related. Everything is related, and the crop circle. Love a good crop circle.
Yes, yes, yeah. Mary's like an expert on crop circles.
Yes, it's
yeah,
funny
we'll have to
because
talk.
there's the what is this, Adam?
We'll have to talk, and I'm so interested in that. It's all sacred geometry, like little flowers of life. It's
Exactly.
kind of like a footprint.
So now you both are intuitive, right? Here we go. So the theories are, one theory is that the Schumann resonance is creating blasts of a crop circle from under the ground, microwaving the wheat and bending it. That's one theory. In science, this is going to the science, right? The other theory is, of course, we think that a lot of people see the lights that come down and they feel it's a ship, and they feel it's creating this like stamp on the earth, also boiling the wheat and bending it. It's never stepped on with a press board and broken. It's always boiled, like microwaved and bent. So that's what creates your thatching and all of the different geometry in the wheat. Wheat from the tares. Never forget that. Wheat from the tares is always mentioned in the Bible. That when you think about this, you say, "Wow, that's so intense." So, which theory would you go with? From above or from below, from the earth, coming from the resonance?
I
Good
think
question.
more from above. Now, of course, like anything else that's very cool, people fake it. So there are people that make fake crop circles, and
Yes, of
probably
course,
the
of course.
technique you were talking about. But
But it would be
I
broken,
think,
not microwaved. So microwave,
yeah.
you know, the heat bends it, not breaks it. So that's what they all find in all
So
the stuff.
I mean, it could partly be from plasma. Like ball lightning is a plasma discharge, for example. But plasma's conscious. We're starting to learn that plasma, the fourth state of matter, is actually the conduit of consciousness into matter, basically. So if it's a plasma thing, there's a consciousness that's creating these. Yeah, and using that, which would explain the whole microwave thing and what you're talking about also. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it could be both. It doesn't have to be one or the
The
other. It
plasma
could
could be
be,
triggering the earth. Yes, it could be both
yeah,
actually, creating the
yeah.
geometry.
But I
Because
You
it
know,
think
has
it's really
cymatics is what it is. It's cymatics from what they would do to water with sound. It's basically
right,
where
right,
they get the sound
exactly,
from.
yeah,
exactly.
So
Your
it's just
sound
landing on the earth
frequency
instead of
would
water.
do it. Yeah, sound we can't hear. It's like light we can't see. All that can do that. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? I know. This is what I study.
I loved
Great,
it.
great, great,
Last
great thing
night
to say.
last night on Ancient Aliens, there was also about the technology of the shawl that apparently went over Jesus's body when he was lying in the tomb, and how it burns an imprint in like of his face and his whole body.
He
But like, where did
radiated.
that come from? The radiated,
He
the light,
radiated
the
and he flashed
electromagnetic.
out.
Yeah, nobody can explain it. Nobody knows,
No, he actually rainbow bodied is what I feel that
right?
that is. Yeah, he
Yeah,
rainbow bodied and flashed into the Turin, which was linen. That and
yeah.
linen is is the thousand frequency, the 1,000 hertz frequency linen, which is why we took it out of the hospitals because you would heal then. We used to use
Yeah.
Yeah,
linen.
It kills bacteria, viruses.
Yeah,
Yeah, linen's amazing. Yeah.
it
God
is.
forbid we have high vibe in a hospital helping
Yeah, and
people
we,
heal.
we should all have it on our beds, but we tend not to because we want soft and all this other stuff. But linen is
I have
actually,
that soft stuff. I should go back to linen. Absolutely.
see?
I've been making that transition, like anything polyester, anything either cotton or linen. Linen preferred, obviously, higher frequency, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's something
not
that
putting things
that
on our
hurts.
body. Yeah.
The music is also something we also have to pay attention to. So like I listen to some of the music my son listens to, and I'm just like, my goodness, and
Very.
it makes me a little angry, some of it. And I'm an old goth, I'm like, I go back where, Happy, The Cure, you know what I'm saying? So Morrissey. No, but I go back to that, which is like kind of crooning music, a little singing. This is just like very rough and literally speaking badly about others, and just I
Hmm.
said to Liam, shut it down sometimes. You need to take a walk away from that so you calm down, because I see it coming out in him. So it's quite interesting. Even music has such a frequency and resonance. And our
Yeah, and
current
it's
music
it's
is exactly
it's a
great.
program. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a program, yeah. So the
Yeah.
resonance.
Another interesting
Yes.
thing to you talk about Tesla and that you've channeled is that all the Salvaggio frequency they either add up to 3, 6, or 9. So it's got that frequency 432. What that adds up to 9, right? 528 adds up to 6 or 15. So all those frequencies add up to that, but the music today is not in the old scale. It's not in the Salvaggios. It's in a disruptive frequency that's
We call
non.
it drop D in metal, in rock we call it drop D, and that's what you would get like Marilyn Manson, blah blah blah, that kind of sound.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's not conducive of any connection to source, right? All of that will block it, and it's a frequency that blocks us. Yes. It's amazing. Really
Everyone
amazing.
needs to
All
play some
program,
Baroque
all part of
period
the
music.
plan.
Yeah. Baroque period music is 417 hertz.
Oh, is it? Oh,
417,
okay.
Yeah, right of the sacral chakra. Everyone needs to listen to that. Make you feel good.
Yeah, yes, because even like when I have clients for Reiki and stuff, or for healing, I'll put on 432 hertz. I'll do binaural beats. I allow
Yeah.
them to like kind of delve into their own healing, so this way they
Oh,
can listen to
perfect.
that.
Yeah.
So it's coming in all directions.
Yeah.
So
Oh, what is it? I just posted yesterday. Einstein said that the future of medicine is frequencies. They've found it to heal tumors. They've found it, they're finding so much more that just simple frequencies can heal.
Well, it's funny 'cause when I had received a download for my healing rods, right? And this
Mhm.
is a frequency of two
Oh,
different
yeah.
metals, right? So I
Mhm.
have this goes in the left hand. So my left hand is the zinc and the right hand is the copper. And in that, what I'm finding is the Duracell battery is happening, but also known as a Baghdad battery. And this goes back to the rods of Pharaoh, which is what these are. They're the rods of Pharaoh with these metals. And they used to charge themselves by just standing there, standing up and grounding themselves barefoot and basically in the sun, just absorbing all of that energy. And that's how they would actually heal. I'm actually clearing up my voice right now, I think. I think it's clear. I just felt it.
Yeah, yeah, I can feel.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have
I've got
So,
my
so
rod. I just picked up.
this is a very ancient healing technique and tool, but I feel that it's going to be coming back around using like all the metals and using the different frequencies that we do have around us in all different ways. So it's going to be like even like the geometry of the crop circles and the pyramids, even all that stuff will be coming forward from the past to help us heal. So it's pretty crazy. I just feel that's going to be it's going to be a merge of Eastern and Western medicine as well. I feel that's actually coming too.
I do
Oh,
too.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bring on the
the
med beds, right?
I
the bed beds, which is everything. It's sound, frequency, vibration. It's everything. The bed bed, light. It's all of it. So
Yeah,
I'm
bring
a
it
big
on.
fan of red
Yeah,
light.
they're out there. They're just not being, we just don't see them.
Yes,
oh, yeah, they're always there. What the eye cannot see, don't discount it.
that's
Any other
right.
final words of wisdom for
So,
your
yeah,
projection?
I'd say with all this technology, learn how to cultivate those frequencies through your intention, through your meditation, through your heart resonance. Because we live in a world where they're still trying to control things. Like the med beds come out, great, we can heal cancer, we can heal our bones or whatever, but who's going to control that? The same thing with the AI. This could enhance consciousness, or this could pull us out of our spiritual and towards the artificial, basically. So I always encourage people, no matter what's coming out, no matter what advances are, yeah, we can cultivate these energies. We are energetic transmitters and receivers ourselves. So we can cultivate, the frequency to heal our bodies. I've done it. I know this. I've done it. Doctors, my doctor, he's actually an NP, but he's like, I don't need to know what you're doing as long as you're better. That's his response to me now.
Well,
As long as you're
nice.
better, I don't have to know. So so it really works. It's just a right. Oh, The Tempest, of course, my favorite Shakespeare's like Brave New World with such people in it, right? So we're really, once we start to open to the guidance that we have through extraterrestrials, the interdimensionals, the inner earth being, the ascended masters that we can channel. The group that I work with that I call the master teachers that are interdimensional, that just work with our frequencies to raise our vibrations. We got this. That's my
We
final
have.
statement. We got this.
And my statement is to choose wisely and treat kindly, which is exactly what Adam is saying, as well as pay attention to the seven deadly sins versus the seven virtues and follow what your heart follows. I mean, go with the virtues. The more we follow that, the better this world will be. The more we're paying attention to our self-absorbed seven deadly sins, we're going to start to, drop down, drop down, and have problems around us. Pay attention to those problems. I feel when we raise our heart up, we like I send it all back. I don't even absorb anything. I don't even feel it. So it's because I raise myself to I call it a different radio station. I tune into the
Mhm.
different radio stations.
Very
So
good.
All it is.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
all
and
it
I
is.
tell people not to watch so much the news because the news is also. So I study language as a court reporter, right? And I always hear I always hear the other words that come out in our words. English is the most confusing of all languages, right? So I hear the word news, and then I also hear in that same sound noose. And what that's doing is
Of
also
course.
coming from the throat chakra, but it's choking us because it's actually programming us to believe it and believe in what, right? So we really need to stay connected so we believe in source. Stay focused with God and the ascended masters and stay focused, because that will keep us away from the noose. And Maduro actually means ripe. So he was ripe for the picking personally, but personally, but at the end of the day, you look at these words and you say, wow, that's weird how these people have these names in the public eye, and they're sending a frequency and they're kind of controlling us and sending these messages. So we need to basically kind of see through the veils if we can, as much as possible too. Read
Exactly.
into it. Don't react, read into it first, So
Yeah, stay in the heart, not the mind.
in the
Exactly.
heart,
Right,
exactly.
right, in the heart, exactly.
Thank you guys so much. I'm so honored
Thank you.
that you're
Thank you,
holding
Adam.
that.
Great to see you.
Thank
Happy New
you.
Year to you.
Happy
Happy
New
New
Year,
Year.
everybody.
Thank you everyone
Welcome
for
to New
listening.
Earth.
Yes, thank
Yes,
you. Have a good one.
have a
Bye.
good one. Peace out and God bless.
God bless.